Welcome to Tool Talk with Frank. Today we're talking about Woodpecker. Woodpecker is known for their quality tools, finely engraved. And these tools aren't just for you, they're for your grandchildren and great-grandchildren. These will stand the test of time. First tool we're going to talk about is the Pini Pocket Roll. It does fit in your pocket nicely. So this is set up in millimeters. The imperial will be set up in inches. In the inch scale, they actually go down to a 32nd of an inch. So you're going to get the really precise measurements that you're looking for. This piece here slides back and forth, so you can adjust to a dimension. Let's just say we want to do a tenon that's that long. We're going to lock this in at that point. And there is a small notch on the end. So you can put that on the end here, set your pencil in there, and get a nice clean line. You can actually trace that all the way around. So if you're cutting tenons, you'll know where you're marking to. That's one feature. There is an end scale on the far end, usually on the right-hand end of the ruler. In that case, you take this piece off, you set it down on the surface, slide this through, it notches in, and now that end scale is standing by itself. We could actually I can actually show you on the table saw how you would use this. The reason I mentioned before is that this really works good on the table saw. This throat plate, you can't feel it, I can, is not flush with the table. And your stock that you're cutting will be on the table. It's not going to be on the throat plate. So we need to get this spanning this distance so that we're taking our measurement from the table. And when I bring the saw up, right there, I am at precisely 10 millimeters. You want to make sure that you have your blade, the tooth that pitches up to the left. You're measuring off of that one because otherwise you're going to be off. And it's that simple. Okay, the Pini Pocket Roll comes in two versions. The stainless steel version, which is really precise, and it is an upgrade. The aluminum was the original. This aluminum is 1/8 of an inch thick, where on the stainless steel we're down to a 1/16. So if you're marking an increment, you can really get down and transfer that dimension because you're only going down that 1/16 of an inch step. Where on this one, it gets to be a little dicey. You know, you have to put the pencil at the top, drop straight down, and hope you hit it. But they're both great. Woodworkers Edge Rule. This is a great introduction to the line, and it really takes all the guesswork out of marking out and laying out on a piece of wood because it sits on the edge of your stock. You've got your lines indicated here, but you also have lines indicated here. So a lot of times, if you're using a straight rule, I'm not going to reach for that now, but if you're using a straight rule, you have to keep it parallel with the edge. And if it's a little cocked, it's not going to be accurate. Where this saddles over the corner, you've got 3/8 of an inch set down onto here. So you can actually take this, flip it over, and find the center of your piece of wood. So this is great for laying out mortise and tenons and that sort of layout work. If you're doing repetitive work, they do have, I'm going to call it a saddle stop that will come onto the surface. You set that at 4 inches, tighten it down, and now you've got the ability to do a 4-inch scribe. Okay, next up, delve square. This is really not your typical speed square, although this is great for just banging around if you're doing framing and that sort of thing. It's great. When you get into cabinet work, you need something that's going to step the game up. This is the tool. It's made out of stainless steel and aluminum. The aluminum base is replaceable or adjustable if it needs to be, but it comes out of the box ready to rock and roll. Along this line here, you can see there's a scale that has indications every 1/8 of an inch, all the way up to 5 5/8. You've also got your degrees marked on here. You've got inches marked on this side. The base itself is very heavy duty. It'll stand up. So you could use this for an end scale, only it's not laid out as an end scale. But you can check your cabinetry for square, and you've got depth stops built in. You've got a 1/4 inch step here. You've got a 3/8 step here. This is a 1/2 inch step on the back side. And then you've got 3/4 inch in this direction. So you've got everything covered in this one tool. The other nice thing about this is that your layouts, if you're laying out on the edge of a piece, this hole is actually centered at 3/8 of an inch. So if you're doing doweling, you can use this with the VIX bit to set up your doweling positions, or for mortising. Stair gauge set. We've got 2. This is the original size. The shoulder on that's, we're going to call it 3/8 of an inch. And then we have this one, which is a little bit more robust, maybe a 1/2 an inch. What that's going to do is it's actually going to go further down on the face of the wood. So if you have any imperfections, you can bridge that. If you set this at 60, set this here, and that's this angle right here is 60 degrees. If you want to go to 30 degrees, which is actually going to be a lot easier to understand, again, you set this corner and the edge of your stair guide, that's a 30-degree angle. Now, if you go to a framing square, you can lay out your, no, we're going to go a little smaller because this is not a typical stair stringer, but this is for laying out treads and rises on a stair. Or if you're doing a roof pitch. If you want to get that roof pitch, you want to get that angle for the top of the rafter or top of the joist going into the top of the roof, that's your angle. This also works out for stairs, and we're just going to do a simple layout here. You run it down to the next one, zeroes out, and I think you can clearly see that that's laying out for a stair. Now, if you, and you can see that we have 2 different sizes here. The other size comes into play if you're using thicker material, or you have, I'm not sure where that was set before, but let's just try it here. On the back side of this, we've got this wane. And we're, oh my God, I can't use my square. Well, yes, you can, because these come down far enough that you can bridge that wane and still do your layout. So Woodpecker has it all covered. Okay, today we covered the Pini Pocket Rolls, the edge roll, the delve square, and the stair gauges. We also featured this really amazing stainless steel framing square that's also from Woodpecker. So as you can see, these tools are a small sampling of what we have. If you have any questions about what we covered today, please leave a comment or follow below.